Afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I am with you until probably about 5 o'clock. I'll probably stay around till about 5 o'clock. If there's anything to discuss, 513 717 5464, 513 717 5464. That's the number to get on board. Couple little things happened over the weekend. Since we last talked. We'll get into that in a little bit. Robert Willis. What's up? Robert from Anderson. I think I got it right that time, Robert. Welcome to the show. Come on in, say hi to me. Tell me where you watching / listening from. Tell me what part of town you're in. If you're in Cincinnati, if you're not in Cincinnati city, that would be wonderful. See, we got Erica. Good afternoon from Reading. Good afternoon, Erica. Yes, Robert, Anderson Township. I was close. I mean, I got it, right? I said Anderson. Yeah, I got it. So I'm beginning to remember a few of them. Come on in. Chanel B from Kennedy Heights. How you doing? Let's see. I don't know, something's going on with the Twitch account. Let's see if we can get that together. There we go. So we got Twitch together. Chanel B, good afternoon from K Heights. All right, Kennedy Heights. And YouTube is in the house. Hey, you can't beat that. Come on in, say hi. I got a couple things I want to discuss. You know I got to discuss some of y'all favorite president. Sabrina Breeny checking in from Kentucky. Can't beat that. Thank you for tuning in. And thank y'all all for y'all support. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Give it a few more minutes. Just giving a few more minutes. TC says from work. All right. What part of town is that in? What part of town is work in? Yo, Underwood checking in from the JC. Yo, you in jail? Oh, man. And you using your phone call, your internet access? You should have internet access down there, should you? But thank you for checking in. Regina Griffin, Madisonville. All right. Brenda Early, Fairfield. Andrea Russell, downtown Cincinnati. Can't beat that. Veronica from Brooklyn, New York. I don't have a fake Brooklyn, New York accent. Sorry. Sorry, as if you actually wanted to hear that. Lewis from Hebron. Are you down there working at Amazon? Is this Amazon still? They still got their little space down there in Hebron, don't they? TC says on the corner of none of y'all business and just be glad I'm here Avenue. All right. I hear you. That was all right. I'm not mad at you. I would be pleased with you if you could just say what part of town you in. That would be pleasing. But give people, because y'all know, normally I'm running behind. Normally I'm late. It's like 3:15, 3:20 before I get on. So people probably ain't going to start checking if they didn't get a notification till around 3:15, 3:20. And, you know, that's how that be. I understand. It's my own fault. Anthony says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Anthony. Jeannie, good afternoon. Let me see. David, good afternoon. E-Man, little baby, and the afternoon experiment family. Checking in from Westchester. No little baby today. a slight story about that. But yeah, no little baby today. She's not with us. Tony Revels. What's up? Good afternoon. 513-717-5464. That is the number to get on board if you'd like to. 513-717-5464. Yeah, no little baby. No little baby. Jeannie replying to Lewis. All right. Well, I guess I can start off with the story of why the little baby ain't here. The little baby, towards the end of the show yesterday, she was back here and she was doing her thing, but I don't know if y'all noticed, I kind of start checking on her because the energy that I was feeling wasn't amazing. It wasn't that amazing little baby energy. So when we got off, she said her ear hurt and she wanted to cry. Oh, y'all know how kids are when they don't feel good and they're miserable. It's the worst thing ever. She wasn't to the level of miserable by the time we got off the air. But, she did say her ear hurt and, her energy just wasn't what it was. And, she said, I want to cry. And I'm like, well, don't cry. If you don't have to cry, don't cry. And I be trying to be logical with her. I'm like, because if you really think about it, little baby, even if you cry, it doesn't make your ear not hurt. It doesn't make your ear not hurt. And she thought about it and she said, you're right, grandfather. Crying doesn't make my ears stop hurting. So, we went upstairs, we was chilling, and I had given her the phone because she liked to watch these goofy YouTube videos on the phone. And I'm watching whatever I was watching on TV. I don't remember. But she's sitting next to me. And I kind of turn and look at her. And she, she's over there. She's kind of crying, but quietly. But she's looking out the corner of her eyes at me. So when I go to look, she try to look like she not crying. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? And she like, my ear hurt, grandfather. So, I tell her dad that her ear hurts. And he asked, when he came to pick her up, he asked her if she wanted to still go to wrestling practice or whatever they're calling it. And she said, yes, she still wanted to go, but her ear did hurt. So after their wrestling practice, she told him, my ear really hurts. And she ended up going to the urgent care late at night, and yes, ear infection. And so yes, she's not feeling the best. She didn't go to school today, so I didn't have to pick her up. And but I thought it was, I didn't feel bad, but I appreciated her trying to hold it together. Like, for real, she was looking out the corner of her eyes and a little tear was coming down. And then she saw me and she was like, she tried to straighten up. And I'm like, I'm not saying you can't cry. I'm just saying, it don't help. But she was trying to be strong for grandfather. Like, that wasn't what I was going for. But yeah, she held it together. But then, yeah, she went ear infection. And that's that. I have to shout out Carolyn Smith. I don't know if she's on here. I don't know if Carolyn is on here or not, checking us out. But Carolyn was at the urgent care. And I got a call from the little baby's daddy. And he was like, what do you do? I'm like, what do you mean, what do I do? And he's like, we over here at the urgent care, and she's like a little celebrity. Like, people are calling her the queen of talk and little baby. Like, and just to make sure that she's the right person, they asked, what is her grandfather's name? And he told them, and they're like, yeah, that's little baby. Carolyn, thank you, Carolyn. I see Carolyn in the house. Thank you, Carolyn, for taking care of the little baby, making sure that, she was all right and diagnosed well and all of that kind of stuff. I haven't heard from them at all today, but she didn't go to school today. But Carolyn was there, and I'm certain my understanding is took good care of the little baby. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Um, I really do. I appreciate it, and you know, well, I don't know how long. I don't know what Carolyn did. Again, I just got the word. It's an ear infection. They tested her for COVID, and I didn't even get results from the COVID test. So I don't know, but I know she didn't go to school today, so I didn't have to pick her up. But, again, thank you and everything. If it was something wrong, they would call me. So she probably just slept all day. Let's see. Let me hold on. Are you the mom? E-man daughter? Who? No, she was I'm gonna say nurse at the urgent care. So, hey, you got to appreciate that. Anthony say, CE, don't treat us bad. Never know when you gonna need us. I never treat people bad. Never. Never treat people bad. But that's why the little baby not here. Let's see. Now let's talk about, because that's out the way. And again, I'm certain she's okay. Let's talk about some of y'all president. Where is, because I want Ben, I want you to, be excited. I think Ross, he's still in jail, Facebook jail. So he's probably not here, but hey, y'all president, he is running again. Donald Trump has announced that he will run again. Okay, I just got the message. Sophia. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. She has to follow HIPAA or whatever it's called. I wasn't asking Carolyn to tell me what the deal was with the little baby. Apparently the little baby asked to watch, so she's watching right now. Hey, what's up, little baby? I hope you feel better. But so she's watching right now, so that means she's fine. But y'all president, he's running again. Donald Trump announced yesterday that he was running for president. Now, if you with me, most of the people who believe like me, I guess it would be all if they believe like me, we believe he's really just doing this. He's really just doing this in hopes that he won't get charged. In hopes that, they're going to say, hey, whoa. Do we really want to charge a person running for president that looks political? So let's not do. That's what he's hoping. And of course, if he does get charged, that's what he'll say. They're only charging me because I'm running for president. They don't want me to become the president. It's a conspiracy. Joe Biden is weaponizing the Department of Justice against me. We all know that. And apparently I didn't watch the announcement. I could have watched the announcement, but I was like, I don't want to sit around and watch Donald Trump. I don't want to sit around and watch Donald Trump talk for however long he gonna talk. And apparently it was a pretty long announcement. I kept switching and seeing he was still on. And I'm like, nobody watching that. I mean, I'm sure there are people who watched it. I know I wasn't going to watch it. Yo Underwood says, man, that man ain't just doing nothing. He crazy. I wasn't going to watch it. I don't think he's crazy in the sense of a mental disorder, like, insane. I don't really know how to characterize it, but you know what I'm saying. He's not crazy. He got issues, but he not crazy. He know what he doing. He understands everything that he's doing. He understood when he took them files. He knew he wasn't supposed to take them. He understood when he gave back some of the files. He knew he wasn't supposed to keep the other ones. He understood when he understand all of that stuff. And he understands, because if I'm not mistaken, Merrick Garland put out some sort of a memo at some point that basically said, look, any prosecution of any sitting president or anyone running for president, any legal action that we take against any of those people has got to come through me. And I have to give the okay for it. Merrick Garland put that out. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I know I recall him saying that. Something to that effect. And so Donald Trump, I'm certain, believes this is a buffer. This is a buffer. Because people are still complaining about what, I don't remember his name, did to Hillary Clinton. When, what was it, the day before the election, he announced something about an investigation and all that stuff still ongoing into her emails and all that. Nobody wants to do that. I don't remember his name. Somebody can tell me his name, but I don't remember his name. But he doesn't want to be the tall dude. He doesn't want to be that guy. He doesn't want to look like he's meddling in the election, putting his thumb on the scale. He doesn't want to look like that. And that's what Donald Trump. Hey, I can do this. And thank you, James Comey. Hey, I can do this. I can announce that I'm running. And it'll look bad if they prosecute me. It'll look bad if they indict me. It'll look bad if any of that kind of stuff happens. So trust me, hey, I'm not even sure he ever really wanted to be president. But I know now he wants to be president for sure. Because in his mind, that's probably or quite possibly the only way that he doesn't get indicted for crimes that it definitely looks like he committed. So that's that. You also, I made a decision. I don't want to talk about Kyrie. I don't want to talk about Kanye today. All right. I don't want to talk about Kyrie. I don't want to talk about Kanye. But I got to talk a little bit about Dave Chappelle. I don't know. Have y'all been seeing the growing murmuring about Dave Chappelle? Have y'all been seeing that? I don't know. Let me talk about that in just a minute. Lewis wants to know from somebody, will they vote for him? Ben says, don't you think if they could indict him, if they would have I know what you're trying to say. He said, don't you think if they could indict him, they would have done it already? No, I don't think that. I think they're probably, if anything, they're getting their, as what they call them, they're getting their ducks in a row. They're making sure every stone is overturned or whatever, leaving no stone unturned, whichever way you're supposed to say it. I think that's what they're doing because they understand what they're going to be accused of once they indict. They understand the accusation that's coming. This is a political witch hunt. This is a hack job. This is Joe Biden weaponizing the Department of Justice. They understand that. And so if you go in having not turned over every stone, you look bad. So, no, they're like, hey, what's the rush? We got plenty of time. We can indict him if we want to. But let's make sure we got everything locked down. Work everywhere. So yeah, no. To answer your question, no. I don't believe that if they could have indicted him, they would have already done it by now. Sometimes they take time to do stuff. Sometimes they take time to do stuff. But let me ask you, Ben, if you will answer, because a lot of times you just choose to not answer questions that don't kind of go in your favor. Do you believe, Ben? Do you believe, Ben, that he didn't break any laws in having those classified documents at his house? Do you believe that that's okay for a president, former president, to do? Take documents that he has no legal right to have? That's my question to you, Ben. That's my question to you. Now, again, a lot of times you don't answer questions where the answer doesn't lean in the favor of the argument that you want to make. But I think it's a legit question to ask you. I think it's a legit question. DeAndre says, did we get a definition for affordable housing? We can discuss that in a minute. If once I move on, if I forget to come back to it, remind me. Chanel B says his daughter doesn't even want to be a part. Whose campaign of his campaign this time? Yeah. Jerica says, King, have you been ill? No. Do I look ill? I've not been ill. Do I sound ill? Did that little baby get me sick? Do I have an ear infection? No, I don't feel like crying or nothing. I haven't been ill. Not to my knowledge. Angela. But yeah, no, his daughter doesn't want to be. A lot of people have, and a lot of Republicans even, have come to the conclusion that his brand of politics is not the best. Hold on, let me see. This is above my pay grade, respectfully. Oh, shocker, you don't want to answer the question. But if that's the case, isn't that every stone overturned? I'm asking, which, I had a feeling you weren't actually going to answer. If you find out, if you're a Trump supporter, because there's a few of them on here, if you find out that Donald Trump broke the law in taking those files, will you still support him? Will you still support him? Just curious. Kenneth says, Trump play chess, people, not checkers. Look, stop hating on checkers. Two skilled checkers players. It's difficult to win a game. It's exceptionally difficult to win a game. So don't hate on checkers. But I understand what you mean when you say that, but I don't think that he's that complex. I don't think he is playing chess. I think he's just kind of playing. He's just doing stuff because he's been allowed to get away with doing stuff. That's what I think. If you keep letting people get away with stuff, why? Look, he might have the goods on a whole lot of people. Because it doesn't make sense to me why he's allowed to get away with as much as he gets away with. It doesn't make sense to me. None. So, but I think he's just doing what he's like. These ain't new tricks from him. How many of us could not have predicted that the more trouble he got into, the greater the chances was that he would announce a run for president. Especially very shortly after the midterms didn't kind of break the way that they thought it was going to break. I don't think any of us are surprised by his announcement. None of us. None of us. Hold on. Somebody says, can we talk about Shanquell? I really feel like the dude talking on videos should be pressed by goons or law enforcement. Okay, we'll get to that as well. If I don't get to it, remind me. Do I think more blacks have become Republican? No. No, I don't. I think those people who already leaned Republican, maybe they feel a little more confident about it. I do believe that some people just blow with the wind. Like if you're not even slightly informed and, Donald Trump says something that tickles your fancy, then you're like, yeah, those Democrats ain't no good, because you keep hearing it from the few vocal black Republicans, which is why I believe it's important for reasonable people who understand, as I believe, that the Republican Party is a hate group, that there's no place for black people in that party. Just like there's no place for you in the KKK. I bet they would take your money and take your support if you're saying what they want you to say, but they don't really like you. Matter of fact, they'll string you up just as quick as they'll string somebody else up. But you know what I'm saying? You got a puppet that's doing your bidding for you. You tend to tolerate them. But I think reasonable people, reasonable black people, can look at that and say, there is nothing good for black people in the Republican Party. And you know what? Lindsey Graham is on TV crying. Yeah, he on TV crying about supporting Herschel Walker. And he's trying to pull the trick for some people. Because again, there's a lot of ignorant people out there. So he says, look, what they doing to Herschel Walker is horrible. I do declare. It's horrible what they doing to Herschel Walker. And what they're really trying to do is send a message. We've been talking about sending messages for a minute. What they really trying to do is send a message to black people and to black conservatives that if you join the Republican Party and if you step out as a member of the Republican Party, we will destroy you. I do declare, we will destroy you. I think he said I do declare like 3 times. Okay, he didn't actually say that. But he says they're sending a message. They're sending a message. Now, we all know ain't nobody sending no damn message that if you black and a conservative, we will destroy you. The message that's being sent with what people are saying about Herschel Walker is, if you stupid, you look stupid, and you sound stupid, and you're, very obviously stupid, and you run for an office, we gonna call you on being stupid. And if we can tell that you're so stupid that you can't understand what's going on, so we can tell that you're a puppet, we gonna call you a puppet. We gonna call you a puppet. And it's not, no. What's his name? Tim Scott. Who says Tim Scott is just stupid and he's a puppet? We say he got some issues and he's a sellout, but we don't call that man stupid. We don't, because he's not stupid in the sense of, lacks a level of intelligence and the ability to string together a series of words to make a coherent sentence. You know what I'm saying? That level of stupid. Ben, if you can tell me where I said that, I'll answer your question. He says, so you believe all Democrats like black people. Your leaps in logic, your leaps frustrate me from time to time. Because, if I felt that way, I would have said it. I said the Republican Party is a hate group. That is not saying whether all Democrats like black people or not. That's a horrible leap that no reasonable person would make. Uh, 513-717-5464. Got a call coming in. Caller. I'm fantastic, and how are you?
Oh man, spontaneous. Did you hear the offer this morning that came from the mayor?
Oh, did you say you're spontaneous?
Spontaneous. It's like gangus. Yeah, I've been like this all my life.
Okay, I don't think that's the correct usage of that word, but I think I understand what you mean. Now, what were you?
Hey,
are you okay?
When are we gonna do that? We talk about that.
What?
When are we gonna talk about that the story that your brother wrote on me? And his black log that's been on there so long that I was a snitch and
okay, what?
I was a judge.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What did he write? What did he write?
You never read your brother's log?
I read it sometimes. I can't say I read every entry in it.
Well, it's still on there. It's been on there for a long time.
Well, tell me, what did he write?
Well, Ken Lawson, there been a whole lot of them that they wrote about, but they wrote about me too.
What did he write?
That I was a big drug dealer. And
were you?
All the judges,
Were you?
Oh, shit. The lips of wisdom is closer, except it is of understanding.
Huh?
You talking about who? Lynch? What?
No.
Lynch got a farm?
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. I'm getting confused. You're confusing me.
I know you're getting confused because you're getting tired. Listen. See, the lips of wisdom is closed, except it is of understanding.
Wait. Are you first? First, are you on a speakerphone?
I'm on a regular phone, man. Yeah, I'm on a speakerphone. You don't want to talk on a speakerphone?
No, it's hard for me to understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. So if you can,
what you have to do is listen.
Right, but if you cannot be, but if you can, hold on. But if you can, wait, if you cannot be, if you cannot be on the speakerphone, I will be able to understand you much better.
No, if you listen, you'll understand me much better.
It's not me. Listen, I'm having a hard time making out some of the words because you sound a little muffled. That's what speakerphones do. They make you sound a little muffled.
Let me clear this up with you. I went to Sand School, and I lived in the West End. And most of these guys around here don't even know where the West End was. And so don't criticize me with the junk you talking about. You heard what I said about your brother.
No, I didn't. That's what I'm telling you. I didn't.
Law, read that on your brother's law, and we can start from there. Yeah. Read on that. And then the best, you need to see that movie, Goodbye, Uncle Tom.
Oh,
all individuals should take their kids and see that movie of Goodbye, Uncle Tom, and Uncle Tom was a hell of Mr. Henson.
Hold on, Omar. Omar,
Yeah.
here's what I understood you to say. He said that you were a big time drug dealer. And then I asked the question, were you a big time drug dealer? And what was your answer?
I was a businessman.
So,
I was in business.
so that's yes, you
I was
were.
in the drugstore. I worked at the drugstore. See, you don't know nothing about that. I
I
worked
do,
at the drugstore.
I'm asking a simple question. Did you sell illegal drugs?
I worked at a drugstore. You know what a drugstore is?
That
I
would
was the
be
delivery
that
boy
would be
at it.
right. That's selling
Listen to this.
legal drugs. Did you
I
sell
was
illegal drugs?
I was the. You're not listening.
All right,
See,
go
that's
ahead.
your
I'm
problem.
gonna shut up and listen. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a youngster, and I got a job at the drugstore
All right.
because the man thought I was grown because I was so shy when I was, in my dress. Because this Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is ragtown,
Being shop
and
is
there was some
important.
bad niggas and lived in ragtown all over the world.
Oh my goodness.
They from the bad nigger boys, and all that other stuff you talking about. You can't even imagine. But let's talk about the story that your brother wrote.
I
And
thought
let's
that's
go
what we were
from there.
talking about.
Okay, but let's go. I mean, you're not doing much anyway, and I think you got a good, real voice. You're a good person, and you can. Let's see if we can get some advertisement money, and maybe get a magazine going around or something, some gossip and photographs and Regal Theater things. You hear that money they're getting ready to give up? You hear that they did it once before. They gave $71 million up, and them preachers had what in their lifetime $50,000. They didn't know what to do with it. That's what our problem was, because I was trying to relieve the burden, and they know I was a businessman because I done business. Been had business all my life.
Business.
Yeah, the most enterprising you could ever know in that business, and that's a bad, tough business.
I have no idea what we're talking about now. Just so you know.
Oh, ain't no question. Ain't no question. They say the lips of wisdom is closed except to theirs of understanding. So you gotta listen, learn to listen, y'all.
I'm listening to you. Number one, it's hard for me to understand what you're saying because you're on that speaker. And then number two, I'm having a hard time following because 1 minute you say, let's talk about what your brother said. And then you brought up what my brother said. And then I asked you about it. And then you said, well, why are we talking about that? Let's talk about what your brother said. I don't know what he said. I'm telling you, I didn't read it. So what did he say?
Well, why don't you read that log? Let's work on it, and we can start from that log, and we can go into some real deal stories.
Okay.
Let's try to make this thing and get some of this money back, because they get ready to let this money go. It's just the reason why they haven't let it go, because they got 71 million last time and let it go through their head. Only person got used to it got use of it was what's his name, Charlie Winberg.
Oh.
Yeah, because we came up with a gun lock. We had a gun lock that we would have created it.
Hold on. Are you saying a gun lock or a gun log?
Just what I said.
I can't understand you. That's what I'm telling you.
Lock. You said how you gonna repeat something that I said to you?
Because you're muffled, so I'm having a hard. I hear. Oh my God.
Listen.
You're muffled.
Listen.
Oh my God. I gotta run.
Problem.
I gotta run. You can't take me off the speaker.
No problem. I took my time to call you, but we're still working on it.
Okay.
As soon as I'm putting this team together now, I want you to come and take a visit of what that's been in place now for quite some time.
Okay.
And let you see how I play.
All right. And next time you call, please don't use the speakerphone, okay?
Man, it's the telephone, fool.
You hold a speaker. You're muffled. It's hard to hear what it is that you are saying. Oh my God. It's a speaker. this is the time. If I was still at the radio station, I would have to take a break. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Did he said they came up with a gun lock. Oh boy. I just don't use the speaker phone next time. You're muffled. I'm having a hard time understanding. I can hear you. And I'm like, did he say this or did he say that? Come on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 513-717-5464. I'll take your call and I will talk to you. And let's try to understand one another. What was I talking about before he called? What was I talking about? He asked me, he said, did you read what your brother said? I'm sorry, I got to recap just to make sure I'm not going crazy. He said, did you read what your brother wrote about me in his, I think he was trying to say blog. And I said, no, right? So far I'm good. I said, no, I didn't. And then he said I was a big time drug dealer. That he was going to go on to some other stuff. But when you say, some people said, people talking about me and people came me, I was assuming that he was saying, he was basically saying a whole lot of untrue stuff about me. And so he wanted to defend himself. I'm all about defending yourself. Yeah. So what did he say? He said, I was a big time drug dealer. Oh, are you a big time drug dealer? Well, I mean, I was a businessman. It sounds like you might have been a big time drug dealer. By the answer, somebody just type in there and ask me the question. Emanuel, Your Highness, King, were you a big time drug dealer? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna teach y'all how to answer. I'm gonna teach y'all how to answer that question. Somebody ask me. Somebody. No, I'm not getting Nate on the phone. I'm not. We're not to that level yet. Because the answer, you dealing dope? No. See how simple that can be? Were you a big time drug dealer? No, I wasn't. Then what the hell? Nate lied. Why would he lie on you? Carolyn want to know, Emanuel, are you a big time drug dealer? No, not a big time drug dealer. Emanuel, can you move on? In a minute. There's simple ways that you answer questions that kind of, you can hang your hat on that. But if it was kind of true and you don't want to say it, then just don't bring it up. Most people have not read that blog. And the ones who didn't read it in years. He haven't posted on that blog. It's got to be a good 10 years, easy. And lastly, if you call somebody on a kind of a talk format and you say, let's talk about this, and then you bring it up, how you then gonna tell them, well, let's move on? I don't know that make a lot of sense. I don't know that, at least to me. All right. What were we talking about? I don't know what we were talking about. Trump. We were talking about Trump and the idea of black people being are more black people being Republicans. And no, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I do think there's some people out there that's, kind of twisted. That are kind of twisted. All right, Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle. Thank you, McConnell. Now, for those of you who did not watch Dave Chappelle's monologue, he did mention Kyrie. He mentioned Kanye. He mentioned and Jews. He talked a little bit about it. I don't think that people understand comedy. Or I don't think that people understand people being able to cleverly make a point. Like there are people who are openly and outwardly now saying that what Dave Chappelle did on Saturday Night Live was normalize anti-Semitism. Normalize anti-Semitism. The CEO of the Anti-Defamation League. That's what he says Dave Chappelle did. Hold on, let me see if I can find this story. Where is his? It says, we shouldn't expect Dave Chappelle to serve as society's moral compass. But disturbing to see Saturday Night Live not just normalize, but popularize anti-Semitism. Why are Jewish sensitivities denied or diminished at almost every turn? Why does our trauma trigger applause? I watched the monologue. I watched it. Laughed because, Dave Chappelle is a funny dude. My question to Mr. Head of the ADL, Mr. CEO. Why is black trauma so profitable for certain groups of people? Why is that normalized? Not only normalized, but popularized by some of your people who greenlight some of this music that glorifies, popularizes, and normalizes our trauma. And then they profit from it. Why is that? Why is it okay to profit off of not just the trauma, but the ongoing struggle to extend the trauma? Now, of course, I'm not saying every rapper does it, because they don't. But a lot of rap feeds the continuing trauma. And if you are, not you specifically you, but you can go look and see who owns these record companies. If your people said, whoa, we not putting out the N-word on record no more. Period. If you want to do that, get off my record company. Guess what? It wouldn't be out there. Because I hear a lot of black people like, well, but we got to take responsibility for that because we use that word. Let me explain from my perspective. Yeah, we use that word. I use the word from time to time. I do. But understand, I didn't come up with the word. I didn't come up with the word. So that means somewhere down the line, throughout our history, Somebody came up with a word, put it on me, normalized it, so much so, and it was a horrible insult. Sometimes last thing you heard before you died. But now it's been normalized to get me to the point where I can say it and not think there's anything wrong with it. Who did that? Who did that? It wasn't us. We couldn't even read and write. Oh, hold on, I got another call coming in. Marquetta?
Hey, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Just watching your commentary and catching up on your shows. Wanted to add my 2 cents
All
or
right.
my $3.
All right.
So the reason the Jewish people are so sensitive is because during the Holocaust, the government actually worked to annihilate them. And so they were rounded up. They were marked for death. They were burned alive in ovens. They were kicked in mass graves.
Mm-hmm.
And what you'll never find is a Jeff Goldblum. You'll never find a Harvey Weinstein. You'll never find a Rothstein or anyone of that sort making fun of that. You'll never find them themselves making jokes about how they would have beat down the SS if they were back then. You know, if I would have got caught in the Holocaust, I would have gave the SS. You know, I would have beat them up. This and that. You would never find that.
That's not true.
Because
I've actually heard that.
Tell me.
I'm telling you. I've heard.
Find me a popular mainstream Jewish person.
Oh, now it's got to be a popular mainstream Jewish person. Okay.
Because we are because. I don't want to argue with you because we.
I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. I just you said.
Story.
Hold on. Why you screaming at me?
I mentioned Harvey Weinstein. I'm not talking about up and coming people, you know, low level Jewish people who trying to make a name for themselves. I'm talking about established people who have a reputation, who have some sort of power and dignity.
Oh, well, I thought you were just talking about Jewish people.
No,
so thank you for clarifying.
When I started speaking to you, I said because these are Steven Spielberg. When he made Schindler's List, it wasn't to mock their experience. It was to give us insight into what would have happened during that time. Okay, so it goes back to our personal responsibility.
Hold on, Marquetta. Hold on, let me ask you a question. Are we gonna have a conversation, or am I just to sit here and not talk and let you talk? We can do it either way.
Well, I mean, you haven't let me finish my point.
But no, I'm asking in advance, are we gonna have a conversation, or you just want me to listen to you and then speak when you're done?
I mean, we always talk. You can go ahead and talk. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, ramble on, but go ahead.
So, do you believe, Marquetta, that there is a huge difference between hundreds of years in slavery and mind control, ripping apart of families, everything that went along with that here in America, and the few years of the Holocaust? Do you believe that those two experiences might hit a people differently? So one group might not have been brainwashed in the few years of the Holocaust, whereas another group are still suffering the effects of slavery, and that might be a reason why you don't see that?
No.
Okay.
Because who do you know in your family? My grandma's 92.
Mm-hmm.
She tells me that we're not Africans. She tells me that her people was Indians. She doesn't have any recollection of slavery.
Okay.
When you talk to my auntie, who is 88, she said, she was raped when she was 8. She had her first child at 12. Eventually she winded up with 16 kids out of 22 pregnancies. but her children, they all survived. They're, people who contribute to society, and she hustled. She sold food that she got from the pantry, made something out of nothing. She has no recollection of slavery. So the point that I'm getting at,
Okay, yeah.
Willie D is a good example. Willie D is a good example. Willie D used to be with the Ghetto Boys, and he worked for Jerry Heller. He made a song called Bald Head Hoes. Bald Head Hoes. And he made it, he and his genre of music made it a popular thing to demonize, criticize, ridicule Black women. Has no ties to slavery, has ties to money.
Of course it has ties to slavery. Of course it does.
How does it have a tie to slavery?
The simple tie to slavery is, look, if you take a people, right, and you beat them down, you strip them of their history, you strip them of their education, and you put things into their heads, right? You take their family away. You do all of the horrible things that you can do. You convince them that they're less than you and that they're less than they think they are. And you do that for centuries. And then one day you say to those people, all right, go free. I'm sorry. You've put in me for centuries. I might not ever remember somebody telling me verbatim that, hey, you're less than, but the message has been sent down from century to century to century to century. So, yes.
So you're telling me Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and MC Ren was so destroyed by slavery that they had to make music that glorified robbing banks, raping, robbing, killing each other, and being gangsters.
What I'm telling you is that the idea that has been put out there in Black people and that still is prevalent in a whole lot of Black culture, that we are less than and we cannot achieve through conventional means, came from somewhere.
Interrupt you?
Yes.
Let me interrupt you. I don't know no Black people who think they less than. Everybody I know is arrogant and think they better than everybody. Black excellence has been proven with HBCUs, Spelman, Howard. We have Black doctors, we have Black nurses, we have Black educators. So when you talk about, and I agree with you to an extent, because that's not Black culture that you're talking about. That's Goyim culture. That's the Jewish culture that they fed us through these coons. That's the Jewish culture, people who don't see us as people who see us as cursed through the blood of Ham. That's their perception of us as criminals and hoes and drug dealers. I'll agree with you with that, because that's not Black culture. Black culture is line dancing, parties, cooking, education, sports. For the most part, it wasn't until we had this influx of massive industrial prison population demand that we got this William culture. When the private prison population realized that it was more money in prison than it was in anything else, and then they began to create funds, stocks, conglomerates to build up on that, and you as a city or state had to make sure you maintain that prison population so that it grows. See, I don't see us as
that. I'm sorry. That is an extension. That's an extension of what they.
I don't see us as a victim. I see some of us in the inside of our collective as an accomplice. And if we can stop making excuses, all of our people are not damaged by slavery. We suffer the economic conditions from us not being compensated for slavery.
Wouldn't that be an effect of slavery?
Sure. Okay. Your schools are underfunded. Sure. Your communities are flooded with drugs and guns. That's a consequence of being someone's slave. I feel you on that. I'm not discounting that.
Well, you kind of are.
I would not then go and make a comedy skit to the world showing that when the government does decide to give me my reparations or, to make my people whole, that it's a big joke, that we all going to buy Cadillacs and chicken and babies, and we all laugh and giggle. See, I don't find it funny
I think
when somebody like Dave Chappelle.
But that's just it. I think you misunderstand.
I
think you misunderstood. I know where you're going. I think you misunderstood the point of that sketch.
Dave Chappelle also had Tyrone Biggums. And that one, not Tyrone Biggums, who was the crackhead that he played?
I think that is Biggums.
I think Tyrone Biggums was the racist KKK blind guy.
I'm not sure.
But he has so many characters. I get it. It's parody. It's funny. Ha ha ha. But crack addiction ain't funny.
But that's just it. It's not just meant to be funny. It's meant to make you think of how did these people get in this. The idea that Dave Chappelle just does a sketch about when black people get reparations is just to laugh about what black people would do if they got reparations. If that's all you got out of it, you missed the point.
It's satire, but the point is you will never find a Jeff Goldblum or an artist in his position making fun of the fact that Israel gets billions of dollars each year from the Holocaust. Holocaust survivors are still getting $100,000 cash from the American government. And we, as a country, we didn't put them in the oven. We did not burn them. We, as Americans, are paying for Israel to exist and to be able to bomb the Palestinians and say they're less than human. We, as Americans, have presidents who proudly stand with Jewish leaders and say we will kill anybody who does not believe you. In our churches.
But hold on.
Honor the Jews.
But Marquetta,
nobody honors black people. The point I'm trying to get at, and I'm going to hang up so I can listen to you outside because I like listening to you. The point I'm trying to get to you is this. Nobody, not the Chinese, not the Hispanics, not the Indians, nobody is laughing at themselves. Nobody is making fun of themselves.
That's just not true.
While they're in the mud. Black people have created a problem for themselves by laughing at themselves and not taking things serious. And then when the political ramifications come, when somebody like Kyrie Irving discovers Hebrews to Negroes and it ain't funny no more, then we look to excuse our bad behavior. We all done participated in Goyim culture, but the point is, it's Goyim culture. It's not black culture. And I'm listening to you offline.
All right. That's Marquetta. I don't know that. Look. I'm going to do this and do that. Like people like to tell me, you're comparing apples and oranges, right? You said some of the stuff that you said, like, okay, some of it was just not true. I hear Jewish comedians make fun of Jewish people and Jewish culture and the issue going on with Palestine. As a matter of fact, I just saw Jon Stewart. I would think he would be one of those big. He's not an up and coming anything. I just saw him criticizing Israel about their treatment of Palestinians. So the point that Jewish people don't do that is just not true. And by the way, he did it in joke form. So it's just not true. Of course, the same could be said for white people, for Latinos. People in a struggle, in pain, one of the things that people do to deal with it is they laugh. They make jokes about it. It does a few things. Number one, it lightens you up. Laughter is good medicine, they say. It's good for the soul. And number two, it's a way of making a point without bashing you over the head with it. I can preach to you, or I can tell you a joke. And they'll both have the same point. If you clever with it, I can make you think with my comedy just as much as, some intellectual up there breaking it down. I can get you to think about it with a joke. My 5-minute, 7-minute routine as opposed to their 3-hour lecture. So there's power in that. But now the people always tell me you compare apples and oranges. I always say apples and oranges can be compared. They're both fruit. But of course, the point that people are making is you're comparing two things that are not similar. And that's not fair to either of those things. And I think that's what Marquetta just did. See, it's one thing to say, well, the Jewish people don't do that. Because if all you got, this is really all people got. Jewish people, they suffered through the Holocaust. They suffered through the Holocaust. Millions of people were burned, ovens, mass graves. It was horrible. Somebody tried to wipe them off the face of the earth. And that is horrible. And that is horrible. But again, for a lot of people, it's going to take more than, 10 years. It's going to take more than 10 years to totally strip you of your culture and to get you to a point where you think less of you than I think of you, and I don't even think of you as human. And I need to convince you that you're lower than I think you are in order to keep you subjugated. So you don't even think that you have the ability to survive without me. So I get you to a point where I don't have to use force to control you. Your low opinion of you will control you. And we know that low opinion of you will control you for generation after generation after generation, because it's passed down, not genetically, but in the things that you do and in the way that you act. It's passed down. So I'm going to round it up to 10 years of horrible trauma, persecution, and death. And to compare that to 400 years of subjugation, death, horrible trauma, and everything else horrible that you can think of, and say, why is our mindset different for what we went through than their mindset for what they went through? It's a different situation, totally different situation with different ramifications. Well, my grandmama don't remember slavery. Why do you think they still eating chitlins? I don't remember slavery, but I eat chitlins. Well, just for fun. No, because that's what your people was given. And so it was passed down from generation to generation to generation. And the people said, this is all we got. This is all we got. So this is a delicacy then. And I just use that as because of course, everybody don't eat chitlins. I'm somebody out there thinking, everybody don't eat chitlins. I know. But the point is, you can take a thing. And some of y'all who eat chitlins now, you are never a slave. You are never a slave. You don't remember slavery. But you still do things that came from slavery. And you still have some mindsets that came from slavery. Even if you reject them and you work. Because look, I like black people. But I have to, all of the stereotypes and stuff that we get, I have to fight those. I hear them. I see them. And I have to fight hard to be like, no, I'm not going to look at my people that way. I'm not going to look at my people that way. I'm going to look at the good in my people. Oh, but he did something wrong, so he's a horrible black person. He did something wrong. He may be a horrible person. If we want to dig deep into it, why did he do that wrong thing? He's not horrible because he black. If he's horrible, it's because he did that thing. But why did he do that thing? I'm not throwing him away because he's black. I'm not looking at people and groups of people, in particular black people, and saying, look at them. Black people need to this. Black people need to stop doing that. And black people need to stop. It's the reason why they do that. Some of it didn't come from slavery. Some of it came much later. When Ronald Reagan then was flooding the black community with drugs, that wasn't slavery. I believe that they understood that it's something that they could do because, again, that same mindset, it exists in some people, which is a remnant of slavery. I was at church once and a preacher told this story. He didn't come up with it. It's a story he heard. He said he was, it's a made up story, but he used himself. He said he was talking to his mama. And his mama had, I'm going to make it a roast. And she cut off, the butt end of the roast, put it in the pan, threw the butt end away, or did something with the butt end, whatever, and put it in the oven. And he said, Mama, why do you cut off the butt end of the roast? And the mama said, well, my mama always cut off the butt end of the roast. He said, well, why? So she called her mama. And she said, Mama, why do we cut off the butt end of the roast? And the mama said, my mama always cut off the butt end of the roast. I said, well, why? Well, her mama was still alive, so she called her mama. She said, Mama, why do we always cut off the butt end of the roast? And her mama said, well, the pot that I had was too small for the roast that I was getting, so I cut off the butt end because it couldn't all fit in the pot. So for generations, at least two, they was doing it just because it was what happened a few generations ago for whatever reason. It's an old story. I told you I didn't make it up. If it can be passed down that way, without question, mindsets can be passed down. A whole lot of other stuff can be passed down from generation to generation to generation. And you don't think about it. It's just, as people, we watch the people. Well, I watch my mama. I watch what my mama do and what my daddy do. And I kind of mimic some of that, and some of it I reject. And, that's what I build off of. My friends, I see what they people do. Again, we coming from a history of hundreds of years of enslavement, mind control. Well, but why would you make a joke about it? If black people got reparations, they gonna go out and buy this and they gonna go out and buy that. Maybe I might make that joke because, number one, I want to show you the ridiculousness of it, that you're saying we can't handle reparations. If they get reparations, this is what they're going to do. I want to confront your stereotype and show you how ridiculous it is. But at the same time, number two, I want to say to my people, like, look, if you get a windfall, you don't have to take that and waste it on it. See how foolish you would look if this is what you were doing? Think about this. And of course, we look at it and it's funny, like, ha, ha, ha. But when it's all said and done, you think about it like, what would I do if I got that reparation? How would I use it? There's a reason why they do it. There's a reason why they do it. Brent, don't be trying to spoil my story that I heard from somebody else. Don't try to spoil it. Ben says, E-Man, so with your logic, there's no hope for black people. Again, if that's what you're hearing, which I think we've proven that sometimes your logic and your leaps are not reasonable. But if that's what you're hearing, then you're part of the problem. It's just an acknowledgement that to some degree there is a built-in something that we as people have to fight against and speak out against. And we have to recognize this stuff when we see it. We got to recognize that, okay, it's people behind the scenes manipulating us still. Because it ain't new. As black people, we're not somehow inherently bad. But I don't know nobody who believes that. You know how many times I hear, black people can't have nothing nice. That's somebody thinking black people are inherently bad, buying into that, and it's easy to fall back into that. And you say, well, hold on. Oh, it was a fight at the dance. See, black people can't have nothing. All right, I was at a hockey game and it was a fight there. Well, that's different. How? Well, they can have nice stuff. Black people can't. Where do that mentality come from? It was a fight at two different places. One, it is a commentary on the race and their inability to enjoy nice things. The other, it's just a happenstance, something, and it wasn't that big of a deal. That mindset comes from somewhere. We didn't create that. And that's the type of stuff that I believe we have to fight against. Because that's the kind of stuff that's been put in our heads for centuries. So we have to fight against buying that, black people fighting the King's Island. You know how black people are. Black people are always this. Oh, white people fighting the King's Island. Well, sometimes things get out of hand and, people move on, you deal with it, and it's not that big of a deal. No, black people don't know how to act. Black people know how to act. Just like white people know how to act. That stuff is not accidental. It's not an accident that's a lot of people's default position is black people bad. Because that's what people been taught. And people been hearing they mamas and they grandmamas and they daddies and they granddaddies and they uncles and all of that stuff say for centuries, black people don't know how to act. So guess what you think when you first hear that somebody black did something bad? Black people don't know how to act. Where did that come from? Centuries of being told, y'all don't know how to act, so y'all need us to teach y'all how to act. Y'all don't know how to control yourself, so y'all need us to teach y'all how to control yourself. This whip will teach you how to control yourself. These devices will teach you how to control yourself. If you leave an end to his own devices, then all of that stuff was heard for all of those centuries. That ain't just shook off in 20 years. That takes work to shake off. Look, I'm not out there committing no crimes. And I still have to shake it off. Media portrayals amplify the negative stereotypes. And who runs the media? But it's cool for them to say and to ask, why does our trauma get normalized? But you ain't even acknowledging that our trauma gets normalized, has been normalized, is commercialized, and profitable for you. Because the fear is, if we don't normalize and commercialize their trauma, then what might happen? What might happen if they like all drop this mindset and come together and begin to do things for them? Can we take advantage of them in the same way? Okay, they ain't really all that worried about it because they've got hundreds of years of conditioning kind of built into us that we have to fight off. But who wants to rely on that? That's your fallback. That's your fallback. In the meantime, what we were talking about advertising or something like that the other day. McDonald's is ingrained into you. I'm not saying you like McDonald's. Somebody say fast food, you think McDonald's. Even if you think, oh no, that's definitely something you don't want to eat. McDonald's, no. Or we just run around, eat fast food. Let's go to McDonald's. Y'all know, McDonald's. It's ingrained in you. But McDonald's do still advertise because they can't just expect to fall back on, well, it's ingrained in them. Because there are other things competing. Same. They don't want to fall back. They understand it's there. We done put it in them real good. It's there. But we got to reinforce it. We still got to keep reinforcing it. We got to put out this music. We got to, create these images. We got to send these images across the news. We got to lead with a black person did something wrong. We got to lead with a black person dead. We got to lead with, and, they can't say it because it happens. Like we couldn't report it as news if it didn't actually happen. But what in the machine is making it keep happening so you can keep reinforcing it? Y'all, this is real. Like this is not. And so you got to fight within yourself. Let me just talk. I had to fight within myself every day to be like, I don't buy into those terrible stereotypes. Well, but black people do stuff wrong. You making excuses. No, I'm not making excuses. I haven't said that it's cool that black people do stuff wrong. Black people shouldn't do stuff wrong. But black people ain't the only people who do stuff wrong. It would actually be better if black people didn't because we got, in this country, more working against us. But it's not an excuse to say, again, I use this. Emanuel, why were you late to work today? It was an accident. I was on 75. I would have been here 10 minutes early, but an accident shut down 75, and I was between exits, so I couldn't get off. You just making excuses. No, I'm not. I'm telling you the reason. I'm telling you the reason why it happened. I would much rather there not be an accident and me not be trapped on the highway. But if you ask me why, well, now, does that excuse my tardiness? Maybe not. But you're asking me the reason? Don't say I'm making excuses if I tell you the reason. Why black people out here selling drugs? Well, there's a number of reasons why. There are a number of reasons why. None of that excuses it, but you ask why. Why did they flood the community with drugs? Why didn't they flood the white community with drugs? Oh, now you making excuses. Why it says it's a little hypocritical. We actually push the product that demonizes us. Listen to the music. That's the point I'm making. Yeah, we push the product that demonizes us. We push some of the product that demonizes us. It's a whole circular thing. You're less than. You're nothing. This is the only way you're going to come up. Is by belittling your people. And it ain't that big of a deal to belittle your people because they're less than anyway. Yeah, you're right. I can belittle them and I can come up. So then you belittle them because you were belittled. and you think it's okay to do it. So then somebody else run across it, and they're like, yeah, that's right. This is who we are. And then they come up in the game, and they do it. Yeah, it's circular. You got to break the cycle. But again, that cycle ain't going to be broken in, 50, 60, 70 years. You don't typically, I can't say typically, but a lot of times you don't break a 400-year cycle in almost no time. There's going to be some lingering effects. All right, let me go back to the phone. CK.
Hey, what up, Daniel?
Hey.
How you doing, brother? I had to call because of the last call. It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Did you hear her, Marquetta?
I heard her.
Now, you made great points, but one point you failed to mention was, of course, I could joke about it because the reason why you got to flip it around. Imagine if black people got reparations and they didn't. See what I mean? They would be joking too. They would be like, this is a joke. Like, that's why Dave is making light of it, because he like, this. Y'all did this to us and y'all won't even give us reparations. We did. America didn't do that to them, and we still gave them reparations. So that's where that's a joke in itself, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just imagine if black people was compensated for slavery the way Jewish people was, and Jewish people wasn't. They would be making a mockery. Imagine so you can't say what they would do because we don't have it to judge.
Well, but I can tell you, Jewish people, even high-profile Jewish people, joke about Jewish people. They joke about Jewish trauma. They even high-profile Jewish people make those same jokes. So just the idea that only black, it go back to that whole default. Only black people do this. Jewish people do it. White people do it. Latino people do it. Asian people do it. You go watch high-profile comedians in any race or group, and they are making fun of their pain.
Yes, Seinfeld. I watched all 10 episodes, and they did quite frequently make fun of their trauma. I seen an episode when the guy, he said, oh, you just became Jewish just so you could make Jewish jokes. That was the whole premise of the episode.
Yes, it was.
You see, you do what I'm talking about. But
the anti-dentite.
For you to have the, yes, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, the episode about when Jerry was an anti-dentite.
Yep. And see, we know these things, but just the fact that you would compare us to somebody that did get reparations. We didn't get it to this day. And that's a point that he's making too. Like, y'all refuse, like y'all look at us as a joke. So let me profit off the joke y'all looking at us of. I'm gonna profit since America look at us as a joke. I'm gonna make a joke of it. So I don't think it's on the same level as when you say black people make fun, because that's all we got. They got compensation, and not just they got it from multi places. So this is what people got to look at. We just. And another thing she didn't equate was when she talked about NWA, they was a product of the crack epidemic, a direct product of it. NWA, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, that music came from the crack epidemic, sponsored by Ronald Reagan. So It wasn't us. And I have to say, remember we had the debate about the supremacy. And you was proved to be right with your what you're saying about remember you were telling me, you saying their profit, and what you're saying today about they profit, and I was against it, but time proved you right. Just a week, they could do what you said. Okay, if you're truly against hate speech, let's cut it out. Yeah. Let's use this situation to stop the hate speech, because we are in a Holocaust right now. We are losing people right now behind this. Nobody is dying behind what Kyrie is saying. But behind the music y'all are sponsoring, because like you said, you profit off of, and you don't have any compassion for the people that's murdered behind it, let's cut it out. Let's show you are who you say you are.
All right.
You know? And like you said about the N-word, let's stop putting out music using the N-word. And I'm not talking to us, I'm talking to the record labels. Because you have the power. You don't have to do that. You want to do it.
They can say no. Like they said, look, when you say no to Michael Jackson, who I won't say he was at the peak of his whatever, but when you say no to Michael Jackson about the K word, he had the K word in a song, and they said no, that he had to pull it out. They made him, he had a video out, it had a swastika on the window that he smashed the window. They said, nope, take that swastika off of that window. We don't care how you do it. Go in, digitally alter it, recut the scene, whatever. That's got to go. This is the record company. The Jewish community said we don't like it, and the record company said, well, hold on, we didn't know that was in there. Take that out. Take that out. And guess what? Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson, when he was Michael Jackson,
the king,
he had to pull that out. They can say to those artists, no, you can't use that word. But they won't, because they make money.
Promoting hate speech. You're promoting hate speech against a certain group of people. Like you said, we could take it out. We could use this as a movement to stop from the leaders above. And all you have to do is say, okay, I agree with you. We're against defamation against anybody. So when you say, oh, we're not promoting any music talking about murdering people or you know, the prostitution or drug selling, like, why would I want to promote that? And when you talk to these people directly, like talk to your Jewish friends, they are more accountable than black people. They don't. When I talk to Jewish people, they say, yeah. When I told them, like, so why y'all not going after Amazon? They was like, yeah. It's like they never heard it, but they don't make an excuse. They just be like, well, yeah, well, I'm not against going. I say, yeah, go after them. Don't go after you know, a person that just posted a link. So you just got to remember, we have the power to pressure the record labels who get on these platforms and admit the only reason they do promote hate is for profit.
For profit. CK, hey, I appreciate your call.
Did not promote hate.
He did not.
Go ahead.
No, that's that. Did you have anything else?
Man, I just want to say, this is what gets you the numbers. This is what builds you to 100,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers. Yeah. This is what gets you there. You can't keep your foot on the gas.
All right.
Keep your foot on the gas, and the truth will be seen. And she listening. She know we telling the truth. Just give us a break, because we haven't received reparations. So we still suffering right now to this day.
All right.
Y'all have been compensated. We have not.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. That's CK. Janice says, and I don't disagree with you, Janice. I just don't think it's as simple as some people make it. Janice says, that's why you write, produce, promote, and distribute your own stuff. Now, that whole promote and distribute your own stuff is where things get hairy. It's where things get hairy. You got to have a distribution network in place. And people can shut you out if they want to. Now, you know, in 2022, it might be a little easier. Things are digital, and you know what I'm saying? You might be able to get but it all depends on what you're going for. It all depends on what you're going for. Janice says, my brother does it right now. Again, it all depends on what you're going for. I don't know that your brother gonna hit Beyonce numbers. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, it's, hey, write it and do it and everything your own self. You're not hitting Thriller as an indie. You know what I'm saying? So if you like, hey, I wanna be up there. A lot of people like, hey, if you want to be up there, you need to be in that system because that's how they get down. Terrence says Tyler Perry puts his own stuff out. No, he don't. You don't see all them companies when you watching a Tyler Perry movie. It's a Tyler Perry movie, Amblin production, try the Lionsgate film. No, he has a Lionsgate is another company. Maybe not Lionsgate. I don't really know all the movie companies like that, but all of those different production companies work in concert. It's not just Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's working with other companies to get his stuff out there, to promote it, to distribute it. And again, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but you're not doing Black Panther numbers if you can't even get into National Amusement or AMC theaters. If you just at the Regal, the local Regal, you're not doing $180 million opening weekend. It's just not going to happen. Now, that might not be what you want. And if you want control, what's the thing about don't despise small beginnings or whatever? If you want control, but it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible. It's going to be difficult to hit those numbers. And that's what I said. I'll depend on what you want. Jenna says he distributes overseas and stays on the top 3. You don't have to do everything the same way to create wealth. Is he doing Beyonce numbers? He doing Thriller numbers? Because of course that's my point. Again, I said you can do it where you want to be. Where you want to be. And the way that a lot of us teach to our younger people, be on top. I hear a lot of other people, nowadays, people are starting to talk about being entrepreneurs and doing stuff on your own and making the understanding that you might not be, this big multi-billion-dollar company, but you can do it on your own. But there are a lot of people who still teach, hey, get out there. You want to beat this. You want to do whatever it takes. Get rich or die trying. Do whatever it takes to get to that top spot. And then, if that means sell your soul, sell your soul. I did see where Wyatt said something about the record companies. They're not gonna, there it is. The music from the labels will change when the audience changes. As long as people are buying, the labels are selling. That's not necessarily true. People was buying Michael Jackson's song with the K word in it. They said, take it out. It was selling. They said, take it out. So he took it out. So it's not just a matter of supply and demand. It's a matter of do what we said you can do. We'll promote it. We'll get it sold. We trust me, they can promote it and they can get it sold. You will buy it. You will buy it. That's not what they want, though. Or I can't say it's not what they want. They just don't care. Now, I agree with you, Wyatt. If I can sit back and do nothing and make that simple money, that easy money, that money where, all right, say the N word, 120 times in the song, talk about having sex and selling some drugs, maybe some shooting and some murder here or there. Go ahead, do that. All right. Now, just put it out. All right, hey, come on, new artists. How many times are you saying the N word? Add another 30 N words. Are you killing people? Now you got to kill some people in this song. Any drugs? All right, good. You got drugs in there, sex. How graphic is the sex talk? Now throw in the P word. Tell them how you hitting it from behind and what it look like, what it smell like. Put all that in there. All right, put it out. New artist, come on. You got the checklist, right? You got everything on the checklist. All right, let's listen to it. In, yeah. Murder you, F you, stroke that B and rub that P and eat that P and suck that D. All right, put it out. Easy. That's the easy way. Sure, they will do that. It's a factory. I agree with you, but they could just as easily say, hold on, you got N-word in there? We not putting that out. Take the N-word out. What are you talking about? No. No, don't talk about that. All right, here you go. Put it out, promote it. They could do that if they wanted to. They are doing the easy money. All right, Daryl. Thank you, Daryl. Daryl says, Emanuel, are we going to discuss the Shanquella Robinson murder before you head out? Here's what I can discuss about it. Thank you for reminding me, Daryl. The story, as I understand it, I've read a few articles on it. It's a really simple story. Well, it's a simple story to tell. Of course, a complex story. This young girl, 25, her and her friends go on a trip to Mexico. They're in Mexico for 24 hours. The friends come home. At some point during the trip, somebody called her mama, her best friend called her mama and say, hey, Shanquella got drunk. She ain't feeling all that good, so she can't call you. We'll call you back. All right, hang up, call back. Say, all right, the ambulance is here and they working on her. All right, call back. I don't remember if it was a third call, but they come home, the friends, it was, I think 5 friends. So it was 6 people total, if I remember correctly. They all come home and they say she died of alcohol poisoning. They go over to the best friend, male, go over to the mama house and tell her the story. She died of alcohol poisoning. A few days later, he bring 2 of the other females who were there, and they all tell the same story. Some slight discrepancies in details, but that's to be expected. The mama say, of course, she's devastated. Your child went out of town or out of the country and she dead. She gets the autopsy back. The girl died. She was all beat up in the face, split lip, knots on her head, broken neck, seriously damaged spine. That don't sound like alcohol poisoning. Then a video comes out, and there's a video of the girl getting beat up. Actually, before the video came out, the family said they had heard stories. People had called the family and said they jumped her. They fought her and they jumped her. And this best friend said, no, none of that stuff happened. Well, then this video comes out, and in the video, Shanquella she's naked and she's getting beat up. And there's a guy in the video saying, you ain't even gonna fight back. And she's like, no. And the video I saw was about 30 seconds long or so. Now, of course, they contacted the Mexican authorities, and the Mexican authorities said, well, we don't really see no foul play. Hold on. My daughter is beat the F up, her face all beat up, her lips all split, knots all on her head. Her neck and back basically is broken. And you don't see no foul play? The U.S. authorities say they're looking into it. But that's the story as I know it, the last thing that I read about it. Only thing I can say, hopefully, there's the friends who were there, apparently they're all in hiding now. Their names and pictures are all plastered everywhere. Well, everywhere. I don't know. But it's not a story that I've seen, big on the mainstream media. Not saying that no mainstream outlets have covered it, but it's not a story that I see big on the mainstream media. And there's this a 25-year-old business owner, how she's been described, 25-year-old business owner, just dead, potentially beaten to death. They say on the, I'm gonna call it the death certificate, even though it might be the autopsy report. There's a box, or there's a question: was this an accident, or was this? I don't remember the exact wording. Was this a violent death, or was this an accidental death? And the person wrote yes. Instead of writing violent, they wrote yes. And so they're like, yes, which? So they're like the incompetence of the Mexican authorities. And they say they cut the vacation short. They didn't just go for 24 hours. But when she died, the story is that, hey, they left because they were like, we don't want to get in no trouble here in Mexico. Let's go back home. Let me go to the phone. That's the story as I know it. Jason, you're on the afternoon experiment.
Oh, I thought you wasn't going to answer.
Why would I not answer you, Jason?
It might be time to go, and you were like, nah, I ain't taking that one.
I got a few minutes for you. What's on your mind?
Dave Chappelle, what did he say wrong? Like, I watched the skits. The skits were hilarious. Like, are they just mad because they can't cancel him, or they mad that he also may have told a little bit too much of the truth?
They're mad because he didn't say anything that they can say to point to that says that's anti-Semitic, but they're like, he is promoting old anti-Semitic tropes, which is, you're like, hey, I didn't say Jews run Hollywood, but I'm kind of, the idea of Jews running Hollywood is kind of floated out there. So I'm mad at you for floating the idea, even though you didn't actually say it. That's where they are. Like, now it's not just he said something anti-Semitic. Now it's he said something that might make somebody who's anti-Semitic think of anti-Semitic. And so we're mad at him for popularizing and making mainstream anti-Semitism.
Okay. And as far as, like, those black people, and I'm being nice saying that, defend, like, using anything they could think of to defend Jewish people, like, just stop. Just say you hate yourself. Like, I'm so sick of them people making 50,000 million excuses. We do this and we do. No, just say, I hate my skin. Like, remember the Bernie Mac character that said that?
I don't.
He even said, I hate my gums because they black. I can't remember what movie that was in.
No.
But that's how I picture them people. Or Uncle Ruckus off of the Boondocks. Like, that's how I picture those people. Like, stop it. Like, don't compare nothing that Jewish people went through to anything that my people went through. Like, and you need to stop taking people's calls when they sound like they medicated. I was sitting there shaving. I had to turn my headset down. Like, why don't you hang up?
I like to give people opportunity to get it out, say what they got to say.
Ramble.
I don't know. I don't
Just
look at it as
ramble.
rambling.
And that the last story you was just talking about, like, see, that when you said them people was in hiding, I was like, good, that's because their family probably out to get them. Like, because I couldn't imagine you tell me you come to my house and bold-faced lie to me, and then I find out the truth, and you thought it was gonna be sweet. I just couldn't imagine something like that. Like,
No.
I'd be out there looking for it. I'd put 25 on your head. Somebody will tell me where you is. Not 25 like I'm going to kill you, but 25 to tell me where you are so I can tell the authorities where you are so you don't get kicked off of Facebook.
Well, but the authorities aren't, I understand, but the authorities aren't necessarily even looking to do anything at this point, because they like, well, we kind of deferring to the Mexican authorities, but we will investigate. But at the same time, which, people say what they want to say, this is not a young white woman. So
But that's rough though. Like there's literally a video.
Mm-hmm.
She come home with knots, beat up. You have told lies. I mean, somebody. I can see the U.S. government playing it off like, yeah, that didn't happen here, so we can't tell other people how to police their own place unless we want to tell them how to police their own place when we feel like telling them how to police their own place.
Right.
That made me a little sad. Like, dang, they gonna just straight up lie to her mama. You might as well just disappear from the jump.
Yeah.
You knew they was gonna get the body back. It ain't like they iced the body down, so you don't see them knots, busted lip, and all that other stuff. Back broke, neck broke. Like that's too much. Like that's when you gotta go touch somebody.
Yeah.
Well, and by touch I mean with the Lord's blessings and all that other good stuff.
Yes. Yes.
That's all I had.
All right.
That's all I have for today.
Jason,
All right.
I appreciate your call. Yeah, my daughter, she talks about going on trips. She's been on some trips. I try to just, how do you teach somebody to recognize that their friends, the people that they think are their friends, might not be their friends? If you think it's your friend, you don't typically see all that other stuff. And what you gonna do is you and 5 people against you. You know, assuming that it was 5 people against her. In my mind, it had to be 5 people against her. You're not going on a trip with me. You my friend. And I don't care if it's 6 of us. And they like, all right, we about to kill so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna do nothing. No, I got you. I got you. Y'all not killing nobody. I don't know what your beef is with her. But, So that says to me, you have 5 people, and I don't know that you can say this, but this is what it feels like. Like, for real, y'all took a trip to Mexico to murder somebody in another country, hoping that we can murder her there, come back here, and we'll be fine. That's what it feel like. We took a trip to Mexico because we feel like that was a safe place to kill you, to beat you to death. Now, of course, I don't have all the details. I wasn't there. I saw the video. But that's what it feel like to me. Okay, I can't say that as a fact. Can't say that as a fact. But that's what it feel like. Now, I don't know how you teach young people. 25 is young. 25 is young in terms of, being able to look at people and assess their true personality and, what they really thinking and feeling and moving. 25. Yeah, I talk about all the time. People wanting to be in groups. People wanting to be with a particular crowd. And so some people will overlook certain stuff to be with this crowd because they act like they like me. But if you really looking what I like to think, if I'm with a group of people and they acting like they like me, but they don't really like me, I'm not a person who had to be with other people. So I'm looking at everything. Like, wait a minute. That felt suspicious to me. That didn't feel necessarily like they want me around. There's some jealousy or there's some hatred or something. And I don't know how you teach that to a 25-year-old. But yeah, she didn't want to fight. And some people were saying, she looked like she might have been inebriated, which is, of course, is possible. You get young people, and y'all know how y'all have promoted alcohol. How y'all have promoted alcohol to people. You ain't having a good time if you ain't drinking. So you get young people in another country with alcohol because you can't go to another country without drinking because you ain't having a good time if you ain't drinking. So she might have been Even though I can't say for sure that she was. I can't say for sure that she was. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to get out of here. I do have to say this. I went to really quick story. And the dude was mad at me, but I didn't feel like I was wrong. Samuel says she appears heartbroken and in shock. That's what I got from it too. I didn't get drunk or drugged. I got, really? Y'all doing this? Like, what is going on? I thought we was all friends. Why are we fighting? Why are you beating me? Why are you telling me to fight back? I don't want to fight back. What is happening? I got heartbroken and in shock. That's what I saw as well when I watched that video. That 30-second clip was horrible. Horrible. Especially knowing the end result. Horrible. And like legit naked. Naked. And I don't know. I don't know how to say it. But you put somebody in a situation naked. There's something about the nakedness of it. I'm naked in a room with people trying to beat me. The level of vulnerability there. So the other people in the room weren't naked. The level of vulnerability there is heartbreaking. All right, real quick story. I'm headed up to my gig and I pull off. I get some gas this morning. I'm walking in the store and a man is standing at the door and he asks me to buy him something to drink. Not, I'm thirsty, I want something to drink, but can you buy me a something? He wanted a beer. So he wanted me to buy him a beer. And he had money. He wasn't asking me to come out of my pocket and buy him a beer. He was giving me the money to buy him a beer. And he was a grown man. Like, this wasn't somebody like, oh, he's 17, he's too young to buy a beer. He was old enough to buy a beer. But I don't know why he wasn't. Maybe he didn't have no ID in this place week hard. Or whatever the case may be. He could have went in and bought a beer, but for whatever reason, he didn't. So he asks me, will you buy me whatever? He said the name of it like 3 times. I don't drink. I kind of didn't know what he was talking about. And so I kept asking him, buy you a what? A what? And I finally got it. The last time he said beer. And what I said to him was, no, I'm sorry. I don't buy alcohol. And he said to me, he got really mad. And he said, well, I'm not asking you to give me nothing. I got my own money. And I said, yeah, but I don't drink alcohol. So I don't buy people alcohol. I just kind of don't believe in it. And he was like super offended. He was super offended. And I went on in and he was kind of cussing while he was standing out there, kind of at me. And when I came out, you could have just got me a whatever. He said it again. And I'm like, look, I don't drink, dude. Because I don't drink, I don't help other people indulge in those habits. And I was, driving to my gig and I was thinking about it. I don't buy cigarettes. So if you want some cigarettes, don't ask me to buy you no cigarettes. I don't smoke. If you want some alcohol, don't ask me to buy you no alcohol. I don't drink. If you want some weed, don't ask me to buy you no weed. I don't do marijuana. Just, and that, look, I would understand it if I said, I'm standing outside. I'm like, I need some cookies. And you like, no, I'm sorry, bro. I don't eat sweets, so I'm not going to buy you that poison. I would understand. I don't understand what's so, not understandable about that. I've never gone to a bar and bought a woman a drink, ever, because I don't drink. I'm not going to buy you a drink. I don't drink. I think it's poison. That's the way I view it. I'm not going to poison you. I'm not going to help you buy poison. I'm not going to help you buy coke. I'm not going to give you no oxy. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff. So I didn't feel bad, but he was pretty heated. And in his mind, I should have bought him that beer because he had the money for it. But of course, the other thing I'm thinking is you could have just went in and bought yourself the beer. Why ain't you buy the beer? Part of me felt like this is a trap of some sort. I'm not taking your money to go buy no beer. And I take your money and go in there, and then the police swarm. And we got him. He got the marked bills in his hand. Like, whoa, I didn't do nothing. You got the marked bills. Next thing I know, I'm in court. Well, Your Honor, it was a guy standing outside, and he gave me them marked bills. Nope. Not me. Not me. But that's it. I got to go, y'all. Check out Wyatt. I'm pretty sure he gonna be on. Check out Wyatt. He's probably on now, like, hey, get off the air. I'm going live. So, all right. Wyatt is coming on. I hope you have and somebody said, lighten up. Lighten up. Loosen up just a little. No. I kind of like being tight. So no, I would not loosen up just a little. Not gonna happen. But again, I understand that. Mike and Ike's. I really need some Mike and Ike's. Can you buy me some Mike and Ike's, brother? I just need a few red ones. You know, if you see me out there like that, don't buy me no Mike and Ike's. I don't need it. I don't need it. All right. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day. I hope something amazing happens to you today. Until the next time, it's been the Afternoon Experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm out, y'all. Peace.